Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got you something very important. Okay? Something that can actually change your life. What is that? It's basically how is it that we should, give effective interviews? And most importantly, how are we supposed to introduce ourselves in interview and especially in particular in English? Okay. So, how are you supposed to give that effective bang on introductions in English language? What are the awkward expressions you shouldn't use? Okay. What are the awkward mistakes that you shouldn't make? All this I'm going to cover in today's video. So make sure you watch this video till the end because you never know. One job interview can change your life. Okay. So interviews are an integral process of selection process for any selection process, right? So interviews are indeed very important. Yeah. And it is imperative that you crack those interviews effectively, because if you crack that interview, you never know, you can get that lucrative job, that lucrative assignment. Yes. So come on, let's get started and let's understand what are the important points that we need to consider whenever we are giving interviews. So are you excited to know that? Yeah. Well, I am very excited to share all those points because I have been an HR in a multinational company since quite a few years. And that's how I have gathered all that information and I have brought it for you. Okay. So let's understand how can we give that effective introduction in English. Yeah. So let's get started. So the very first thing is whenever you enter the interview room, okay, so be it a panel interview or be it one interview, okay, there can be two people, there can be a panel, there can be one person in the cabin. You never know. Whatever the case is, make sure that you share that eye contact. You have an eye contact with that person. If it's a panel, make sure that you're looking at everyone in the panel. Okay, so make sure that you have that eye contact with everyone in the panel, with that interviewer, while wearing a confident smile. Okay, so that's how it is. And make sure that you greet them warmly. Okay, so with that confidence, with that kindness, and with that politeness. So basically, a very good morning, sir. Very good morning, ma'am. Okay, a very good afternoon. Okay, so make sure that you have that eye contact with them. You wear a subtle, confident smile. Okay, and make sure that you greet them well, right? Then, once they ask you, tell me something about yourself or introduce yourself, that's the most common question and the most important question that you will encounter in any interview, right? So, then what is it that you have to say? Please do not start your introduction with myself. Hello, myself, Shivangi. Wrong. It's the most incorrect way to introduce yourself by using a reflexive pronoun myself. Myself is a reflexive pronoun, and you cannot use myself reflexive pronoun as a subject of the sentence. So make sure you say, hello, good morning, I am Shivangi. Okay, or my name is Shivangi. Okay, so the very first point that you need to consider while introducing yourself, that you will use I am or my name is. You will not use myself. Okay, are we very clear? Then, whenever you're talking about your past events, like your graduation days, your school, or anything, basically your educational qualification, please note that those things are completed in the past. And because they are completed in the past, you have to make use of simple past while narrating the same. So, whenever you're sharing your past events, like I completed my graduation from so and so college, I completed my schooling from so and so international or high school, whatever it is. So, I had completed is incorrect. Okay, very often I see people using past perfect while narrating the past events in the interview. No, please use a simple past. So I completed my schooling, I completed my graduation, and not I had completed. Okay, are we very clear? Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Make sure that whenever you are giving your introduction, you club your introduction with some favorable topics. Now, what do you mean by favorable topics? Favorable topics means your achievements, something that you have done and you're really proud of and you're really happy about and you want to share with them. Yeah, your expertise, your knowledge, it could be anything. Because what happens when you bring up your favorable topics, the interviewer will not focus too much on your resume or too much on the form that you have filled in for the interview. In fact, he will get distracted and he will try to probe in into something that, that can interest him. Okay. So, like, I have a habit of saying that I have helped my father, increase the revenue of his business by 2x. Okay, by following some social media marketing strategies. Okay, so then what happens is the moment you say this, the moment you give them this kind of substance, they will certainly get attracted and they will get distracted from your normal resume and from your conventional forms, and they will start trying to ask you more about it. So what was the strategy you used? How did you manage to do that? How old were you at that time? Okay, and what triggered you with those ideas? How did that happen to you? So then what happens, the entire interview, you are driving it by raising those points which you can really talk about. Are you getting it, friends? Okay. So these are all things which I have tried and trusted in my jobs, in my MBA interviews, everywhere. And trust me, all these techniques work. Okay. So make sure that you bring up something favorable. It could be your expertise, it could be your coding knowledge, it could be your digital marketing expertise, it could be your achievements, anything, but you club it with your introduction. Is that clear? Now, very important thing, never show any regrets in your life. Okay, because by demonstrating or by expressing your regrets, what are you actually doing? You know that you are actually showing your pessimistic attitude. Yeah. So, in fact, even if they ask you, like, looking back, what would you want to change in your life? Okay, what is it that you would want to go back and change in your life? This is how they question you in order to check your attitude towards things and situations. So always show a very optimistic attitude and say that I am grateful to whatever happened to me in my life. I have learned from those things and I have evolved. So never show any regrets that I wish I could give my interview well in a particular business school, or I wish I could have prepared more for my exams to get more marks. Never, never, never say these things. So these things are a big no. So do not say anything which can be a great regret. It seems to be a great regret. So do not share any regrets with your interviewer. Always show a very optimistic attitude that, well, I have a great attitude of learning from my mistakes. Okay, and my mistakes are my great teachers, and because of my mistakes I have evolved. Okay, and I keep evolving. So that's what it is. Yeah, are we very clear? Moving on to the next. Always have goal clarity, especially when you're going for a multinational company interviews. Okay, because every employer wants to check whether you are going to stick with that interviewer or not. Okay, so how long can they expect you in the company? How long will you stay with them? Okay, so they want to check whether you will be loyal to the company or not. Are you getting it? So goal clarity is very important. So always make sure that whatever path, whatever your goals are, you align it with the company goals. Okay, and this is a very crucial point because every company is scared of attrition. Every company is troubled with attrition, and with goal clarity, what happens, you are actually giving an assurance to the employer that you are going to stick with them for long because your goals are aligned with the company goals. Your goals matches with the company goals. Okay, so like I remember when I was giving my interview for the job of for the HR specialization from my MBA college, they did ask me about this. What are your short-term goals and what are your long-term goals? So I remember saying that my short-term goals are getting well versed. My short-term goal is to get well versed with all the aspects of HR. Okay, learning everything when it comes to HR, right? Like performance management, training and development, recruitment, etc. And once I'm well versed with this, I would want to specialize and head one of the departments in HR. So now, if you give something like this, the employer is really convinced that, okay, this is something that we can offer to this candidate And this is how the candidate will stick with us. Are you getting it, friends? So goal clarity, very important. Make sure that your goal, your action plan, your short-term, your long-term goals are aligned with the company goals. Okay, that could be a big win. Then, when it comes to strengths and weakness, again, a very important question. Make sure that you're very judicious while sharing your strengths and weaknesses, because these strengths and these weaknesses could actually make your interview or break your chances. It can make your chances or it can break your chances. Okay. So whenever they are asking you about strengths, make sure the strengths are such that are valuable to the organization, like communication skills are something which is very something that can be verified. Okay, so I am an excellent communicator. I have excellent writing skills. Okay, written communication, colloquials. I'm very great at it. You can say that. Okay. Now, when I say weakness, make sure that your weakness should be a strength for your organization. Okay, so do not say that I am pretty lazy or I'm lethargic at work. Sometimes I feel like really, I'm really lazy at work. Please don't give these kind of weaknesses. In fact, you can say I have a sense of urgency. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. So I have a sense of urgency. Like whenever a work is given to me, I cannot sit, I cannot sit peacefully unless I finish my work. So these are the weaknesses which are actually a strength for the organization. So they would want people with these kind of weaknesses. Okay, because that's what work for them. Are you getting it? So make sure that your strengths and weaknesses are the strengths and weakness and are the strengths of your organization. So even your weaknesses are the strengths of the organization. They should be able to exploit your weakness. So that's how it is considered. And especially when you're sharing your strengths and weakness, what they actually expect from you, they actually expect some instances which can highlight that, oh yes, this is your strength, like leadership skills. Okay, conflict management, negotiator, all these are your strengths. So make sure that you share some instances which actually highlights that you could really negotiate well. So I could really, when I was helping my dad with his business, I could really negotiate with the supplier and could get a very good deal out of it. Okay, so these are the instances which will back up your strengths. So instances are very important. Make sure that your instances are ready. And you should be able to communicate in brief. You don't have to narrate a long story. It's an interview, it's not a storytelling session. Please make sure that you differentiate between these two. So in 2 to 3 lines, you should be able, maximum 2 to 3 lines, you should be able to narrate the instance and back it up with the strengths or weakness, whatever may be the case. Yes, friends? Then they might ask you why this particular job or why this particular company. Now, in case of company, make sure that you do your research well. Okay, study the work culture of the company, know the work culture of the company, know the value systems of the company, right? And make sure that you align it with your value systems. Okay, that's how. So company generally promotes, it promotes on the basis of meritocracy. Meritocracy is people who actually perform diligently. Okay, so this is what I really liked about this company, and hence I'm here with this company. You can say that. So make sure that you talk about the value systems of the company, the working culture of the company, the philosophy of company, and that's how you club it with your answer. If they ask you why this job, so you have to show that how passionate you are about this job and how your skill sets match up with your interest. And, that's what gives birth to the passion. And, just express your passion towards the job by talking about your strengths, by talking about the skill sets, and by talking about your interest in that particular profile. Are you getting it, friends? So that's about it. I have done my job. So these are all the important points and tips which will help you crack your interview effectively. Now, in case if you really want to take some practice sessions from me, if you really want to learn in detail with me, practice how to give interviews, how to take interviews, I welcome you to my English Life Skill Hub, wherein we have an extensive practice. Okay, whenever you go for your platinum plans, gold plans, okay, we have different plans. We have silver, we have gold, we have platinum, we have diamond. So when you take your platinum plan, okay, that's where we do an extensive interview practice training, okay, along with nurturing your communication skills, strengthening your negotiation skills, all that. Okay, so if you want to know more about it, if you want to learn this, if you want to practice rigorously, I invite you to my English Life Skill Hub. You can check the description, get in touch with me, and I would love to train you. Okay, friends, so far that's about it in this video. If you have liked my content, make sure that you hit that like button, you subscribe so that I can keep giving you such valuable content in future as well. So far, so good. Thank you so much and see you soon in the next video, friends.